before we get started, I want to try something with you guys real quick. If you can, everyone stand up. All right, I'm going to ask you one simple question. But first, I want you to think about your lives currently, whether it be your careers, your jobs, your relationships and friendships, your family, anything. And mainly, I want you to think about your happiness and success, or lack of, due to those various aspects in your life. So if you have a barrier of any kind that is holding you back or preventing you from where you want to be in life, sit down. Congrats to everyone still standing. That means you have successfully figured out how to overcome your barriers. Or you're lying. I'm not going to point fingers. And to those who sat down, this talk is for you. If you're still standing, go ahead, please be seated. I'm going to prove through my own personal experiences that there's no reason to let these barriers determine your happiness and success. And there's no better time than now to break through them. This isn't going to be a TED Talk with big words or have scientific research to back what I'm saying. This talk comes straight from deep within my heart and soul and from my own personal trials and triumphs. This talk is for the dreamers, for the ones who not only need to hear it, but to see it with their own two eyes, to believe that yes, anything is possible. That yes, if you go to sleep late, if you wake up early, if you eat your bowl of Wheaties for breakfast, and you work hard every single day, you too can achieve your goals and dreams. And maybe, just maybe, this will be the push that makes you move. My name is RJ Messenger. I'm 29 years old, and I was born and raised right here in Erie, PA. I'm the co-owner of a well-known business here in Erie that was started a little under 3 years ago called Iron Empire Clothing. It's a clothing brand that my wife at the time and I started right out of our house while we both worked good, secure, full-time jobs. And in less than a year and a half, we were both fortunate enough to give up our careers to take it on full-time due to how quick and large we were growing. But unfortunately, this hasn't always been my life. And well, I haven't always looked this good. I grew up like any regular kid. I had normal friends. I was raised in a good neighborhood, and I went to Sacred Heart for grade school and was your typical Catholic schoolboy. I even attended and graduated from Mercyhurst Prep High School, believe it or not. And that's where things took a turn. After being so normal and so average my entire life, I realized that being average just wasn't for me. And if it was up to me, that wouldn't be the life that I would live. The next few years, I can easily say were some of the best of my life. But at the same time, I made some unfortunate choices over this time frame that would ultimately create barriers in my life to come. One of those barriers being my tattoos. I started at the young age of 16 with my very first tattoo being my chest piece. The more I got, and the more I realized people treated me differently and looked at me differently, the more I wanted to get. It was my way of standing out from the norm and living life different from the norm of how everyone else lived their lives. It was almost a sense of therapy for me. A lot of my tattoos have personal meanings behind them. By the time I graduated high school, I probably already had more tattoos than everyone in my school put together. So that once I was legal and able, you can say things got a little out of hand. I now have tattoos over probably 80% of my body, including my entire face and head. At the time, in my mind, I thought I was probably being some sort of rebel, and I knew they might cause some issues down the road, but I told myself I would deal with that when the time came. And to further separate myself from society, for the first 25 years of my life, I lived an alternative lifestyle that people refer to as being straight edge. By choice, I refrained from any and all drugs, tobacco, and alcohol. Yes, you heard that right. I went through my entire high school career living a 100% completely sober lifestyle. And yes, that also means I felt every bit of pain and agony that came with my tattoos. So between the ages of 19 and 21, a lot of additional life-changing situations happened. I got in some trouble with the law on 2 separate occasions, both earning myself criminal records and felonies in not only one, but 2 different countries. But that's another story for another time. I do want to add in that before my second run-in with the law, I was fortunate at the time to have landed a part-time job looking the way I did with a criminal record with the City of Erie Garbage Department alongside my father. The good old American dream. Sorry, Dad. And I'm even more fortunate enough that my boss either must have seen my work ethic and drive or he just felt bad for me because he let me continue working with the city even after my second run-in with the law. At this point in my life, I realized that maybe I wasn't meant to be different by having a ton of tattoos, by having a criminal record, and living some kind of outlaw lifestyle. But maybe I was meant to be different by taking all my unfortunate circumstances and the choices I've made over the years and use them to my advantage. And I would attempt to break the stereotype that you can't live a happy, successful life after everything I've done and been through. And I will also use my so-called barriers as my building blocks to achieve things I never dreamed of having before. So for the next few years, I took all of my misfortune, all of my misguided pain and anger, all of the events that have led up to that point in time, along with my unique style and look. And I use it to prove that underdogs and outcasts truly do have a place in this world. It's just we might have to work a little harder and a little longer to earn it. So from 2007 to 2011, I worked my butt off every night behind the back of a garbage truck. I'm talking throwing 20,000 plus pounds of garbage every night in any imaginable weather you can think of. After about 3 years, I finally got the call that would change my life forever, or so I thought. I was offered a full-time position with the City of Erie. 40 plus hours a week, $23 an hour at full rate, pension, benefits, health insurance, all of it, a secured union job. The real American dream, right? Well, I didn't want to stop there. I told myself, if I'm able to secure a job that most people without face tattoos and a criminal record would kill for, what else can I do? So in 2009, my unique look and style landed me some pretty amazing experiences. The more notable ones are having a role in Jay-Z's music video for his hit single Run This Town, featuring Rihanna and Kanye West, as well as a role in Lionsgate Films' feature film Warrior, starring Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton, and Nick Nolte. I was actually hired to be an extra, hidden in the background of some gym scenes, and it was only supposed to be a 2-day shoot. And within the first hour of me being on set, I was approached and asked if I would be able to stay in Pittsburgh for the next month and a half for filming as a featured extra, playing along one of the main characters' entourage. My unique look and personality took me even one step further. And I was given the opportunity to be involved in Lionsgate Films' marketing director Tim Pound's photography book titled Men of Warrior. I was spotted on set during filming by the production executive of the movie, and she suggested to Tim that I be involved in the book alongside the main characters in the movie, Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton, UFC fighter Nate Marquardt, and Eric Apple. Men of Warrior is a nationally published photography book and includes 128 pages of photos, with each of us having our own section. And due to my involvement with the movie and the book, I was actually given the opportunity to fly out to Hollywood in September of 2011 to take part in the red carpet premiere. So let's fast forward a little to 2015. Well, both my wife at the time and I were working full-time jobs. We had this crazy idea of starting a hobby. And well, I've always wanted a clothing line of my own. So we came up with this name, Iron Empire. And the meaning behind the name is that we were all trying to build the biggest, strongest empire that we can with the tools in this thing that we call life. And we do this by using our platform now to spread motivation, inspiration, and positivity throughout the unique messages and designs on our clothing, as well as our community engagement and charitable contributions throughout this city. So we took the name, our brand's mission statement, made some social media accounts, and began selling online. We took $300 of our hard-earned money and made as much inventory as we could with it. Within the first 2 weeks, we were sold out. We turned all the sales and the profit from that and printed more. After a few months of selling online and right out of our house, we knew we were onto something. By the end of the first year, we were already in our first brick and mortar, while still working full-time jobs. The business was growing at such a rapid pace that we couldn't keep up with it. trying to balance our full-time jobs, our personal lives, and now this growing business. So in April of 2016, I did the unimaginable. I pulled my pension from the city. I gave it my years of hard work. I gave it my health insurance, my benefits, my secured paycheck every 2 weeks, all of it, to pursue the dream of entrepreneurship. At the time, I would say 99% of my friends, my family, and my coworkers thought I was crazy. So my reply to them, you're just realizing that now? Now, after almost 3 years, we have since moved into a bigger, better location, and we now offer custom screen printing and design in-house. And in our very first full calendar year of sales in 2016, we grossed over $250,000. I now want to ask my friends, my family, and my ex-coworkers, do you still think I'm crazy? So here we are. Now it's my turn to use my scientific evidence to back the moral of the story. It's not an easy road to travel, and it never will be. But I promise you, it's worth every bit of struggle, every bit of pain, and every bit of emotion that you go through. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. So don't run away from your fears, don't run away from your obstacles, and don't run away from your pain. Embrace them. Embrace them with every fiber of your being. Because by taking those unfortunate circumstances in your life and using them as fuel to the fire to catapult your life into something more beautiful and meaningful than you ever dreamed of having before, will be what drives your life to the next level. And if any of you have any doubt in your mind that you don't have what it takes to win that fight, every single person in this room has already won the greatest fight of their lifetime. We all won the fight for survival to merely be born. And you're going to sit there and tell me that you're okay with going through life the easy way to just get by? Not me. I didn't win that battle to be here, to be born a normal, healthy baby, and to go through what I did as a child and young adult, to just sit here and follow the so-called American dream just because that's what we're supposed to do. But that's my dream, and this is my life. From my own personal experience and experiences of others I've met over the years in similar situations as myself, I found the common denominator of finding happiness and success is first believing in yourself before all else, because then no barriers or obstacles will ever hold you back, and you will live your life without restrictions or limitations. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't feel confident, how do you expect anyone else to have confidence in you and believe in you? I have social anxiety. And sometimes it still gets the best of me. Is it because I'm still a little uncomfortable in my own skin? Maybe. I'm not really sure. But standing up here today, I can bet you never guessed that me, RJ Messenger, a tattooed business owner and self-professed badass, and now a TEDxErie speaker, lives with social anxiety day by day. And all I know is that when you start believing in yourself and having that kind of confidence, even when you're a little uncomfortable in your own skin, it's contagious. And when we all finally realize that bridges are more than just an outlet for us to get over our own our own fears and obstacles, and that it's actually a connection to help bring us together in a world full of negativity, hatred, doubt, and uncertainty, that kind of energy will be contagious as well. We are all different. Some of us may have different definitions of success and happiness, and some of us probably have different barriers or obstacles that limit us from living to our fullest potential. But the one thing we all have in common is that we are all constantly pursuing a better, happier life, the pursuit of happiness. And they say nothing in life worth having comes easy. So we're all going to face barriers and obstacles throughout our lives in one way or another. But how we face these barriers is what's going to separate us. You have the people who live the life that they want without letting anyone or anything get in their way. And then you have the people who will deal with the cards that they've been dealt and be perfectly fine and okay with it. We all have a story to be told, a story that the world deserves to hear. But it's up to each and every one of us to decide if we're going to tell it ourselves or let someone else tell it for us. And I know for a fact that I'm going to be the narrator of my own story. Now the question remains, as you walk out of these doors today, ask yourselves, who's going to be the narrator of yours? Thank you.